see is what you get.
Grab my mic. Let me get in this here. Going for the dramatic intro. What's up, everybody? It's Jacob and Kyle back once again with another awesome podcast for you all. And today's we're going to talk about lifestyle exposed. We're exposing your lifestyle and telling you why it's messing you up.
Why do I look like I'm so short compared to you?
Because I'm sitting on a taller stool. You should have grabbed the other one. This is my son, Kyle.
Hello, father.
He's a short little guy. It's okay, don't make fun of his height. He's actually taller than he looks on camera. Camera adds a few inches, you know.
Are you speaking in like
It's like
English
it's
accent?
like an Australian.
Yeah,
I don't know.
Australian.
Yeah, did it sound English? I've been trying to work on my English accent.
I've been just trying to work on my English.
That's always good, you know. You know what's funny is that when you apparently this is what I've heard from people that have traveled to England, that have traveled over to the homeland, if that's what you think your homeland is. Anyways, that's where we pretty much all originate from, somewhat. Anyways, they say that we speak American because we don't speak proper English.
Well, I say screw that.
Yeah, we
You hear
beat
me?
them with pitchforks and freaking
Yeah, dude.
shovels. Suck it. Sorry if there's anybody in the UK that's listening. Apologize. We're all good now. It's all good.
But we won.
But, okay, we did win.
We won.
So we got the 4th of July.
Yeah, boo.
Suckers.
Yeah, boo.
Yeah. Let's get it. I'm ready.
Let's get into it.
Yeah. So when it comes to lifestyle, this is probably the biggest thing, the biggest obstacle that everybody has to overcome if they want to become successful in their goals, right?
I can't do this. I can't look.
Wait, what are you doing?
I can't.
There's no taller stools. This is the only one. This is the only tall one. I made sure that I was the one that got the tall one to make up for my height because I'm short. Not really that short. I'm like 7'2", so it's no big deal. Anyways, welcome to my podcast. My name is Jacob. I'm going to be doing this solo today, so
looking 4 feet tall, but I just don't.
is that one better? Yep.
Yeah, that's-
It's the Home Depot Pro. There we go.
There we
Okay,
go.
cool.
Now we're even.
Now we're even. I was gonna put my arm around you and everything, you know. It was perfect. I liked it.
No, I didn't like it. Ugh.
You're like a bird. Birds establish dominance by height.
Oh,
So
yeah?
whoever's perched higher on the tree is like considered the dominant
Hell
bird.
yeah.
So if you ever own birds, just make sure they're below you. It's the same with dogs. Like
What? How are you
dominant-
gonna make sure that a bird is below you?
you put them in a cage and you put them on the ground or in your basement.
Wow.
Screw them birds.
God.
I hate birds. My mom has 2 of them. Stupid as all hell.
Hating animals.
I'm sorry. I grew up with them my whole life, okay? I don't like them. I've seen all the bad things that come from them and little good.
You're talking about drop kicking dogs last time, and
Yeah, that's true. I mean, you can turn me in for animal abuse, but you got to catch me first.
they're not hard to reach.
What?
I said you're not hard to reach.
Yeah, I live in a fortress.
Of what? Solitude?
Yes. I live in an isolated cave
Hmm.
that nobody knows the location of. It's totally disclosed.
1492
14
East.
East G Street, Laramie, Wyoming. We're in Cheyenne though, so I have to drive quite a ways every
Yeah.
night, every day, every
All right.
night. Yeah. Anyways,
Lifestyle expo.
Yes.
Expose.
Expose it. Your lifestyle's in the way of you getting to your goals, reaching your dreams, losing that fat, getting muscular, whatever it is. The biggest thing that I see within my first year of personal training experience was lifestyle is what got in everybody's way. The lifestyle was just not meant to fit into exercise and reaching the goals that they had set for themselves, right? So for example, somebody who is always on the go and always moving, the chances of them being able to find something that's going to be healthy for them in a fast food restaurant is going to be very, very low. And even if it is considered healthy in a fast food setting, it's still packed in calories, right? And I mean, calories taste good. Flavor comes from calories. Flavor comes from fat. So that's a huge thing. Another thing is they're always busy, and so they hardly ever get any sleep. Sleep is huge when it comes to recovery. Sleep is huge when it comes to, making things happen with your life. Another example is somebody who wants to become successful, whether it is with their own business, whether it is in their workplace. but their lifestyle consists of them waking up, instead of going to work, instead of working on their business, they instead play video games, or they decide to do some other unproductive activity. And lifestyle can be chopped up to all the way to how you feel every day. If you're miserable every day, there's probably something in your lifestyle that is making you miserable, and there's probably something that you are doing within your lifestyle that is creating that, and that is making that happen, right?
Well, I mean, obviously, people struggle with addiction, and obviously, those are bad habits. But it takes 2 weeks to actually develop a habit, whether it be good or negative. I mean, obviously, you try heroin first time, you could be really obviously that's a bad habit, and that's an addiction.
Oh, it's
But
really
it,
addicting too.
yeah, I mean, addiction and habit are a little bit different in the way of you need that drug to go throughout your day. You don't really need a habit to go throughout your day. So that's obviously the difference between habit and addiction. But it takes 2 weeks. So say you start making your bed, and I mean, when we first started out with the podcast, I was like, you know what? You researched the top 10 billionaires, and the first thing that they did every single day, all of them had this in common, was making their bed, because then they accomplished for something first. Boom. Wake up, you accomplish something. Yeah, it might be small, but that doesn't mean it's not significant.
Oh yeah, well, and it can go the other way too. If you look at somebody, a majority of people, they wake up, and what's the first thing they reach for when they wake up?
Their phone.
Yep, just blink and scrolling through, just going through the Facebook, right? And that could be a good thing, but most people, and especially the majority of all of us, we're not looking for the positive things. We're not looking for the cool things. We're not interested in those things. We're interested in the bad, the threats, the triggers, the things that make us angry, the things that make us sad, the things that make us feel that threatened emotion, whether it's anger, sadness, depression, whatever it may be. That's what we're looking for, because that's just pretty much how we've been conditioned throughout our entire lives. And so even the habits that we do throughout the day, eating craft food, it's easy, accessible. It gives us a nice little high, but at the end of the day, it's not going to make us feel any better. It's not going to help us reach our goals or anything like that, right?
Or we call it itis.
Yeah.
Get that itis.
Yeah. Get that bronchitis.
No, not the bronchitis. But you get the itis. You go to Chick-fil-A and you eat a huge meal, and at lunch, and then at 1 o'clock you want to take a nap.
Yeah.
You just feel like garbage. I mean, your body naturally wants to take a nap during that time anyways, depending on your sleep schedule, but you just feel like straight doo-doo.
Mm-hmm. Well, that's
and the poo-poo.
And it's funny because you can see how lifestyle affects different cultures. Like if we look at Spain, with Spain, they wake up, they go to work, but halfway through their day, they have their siesta, right? Where they just take a nap. They go and they take a nap. And then they go back to work for the afternoon, and then they have like crazy festivals and crazy parties almost every night, and people stay awake all night long, but they get that nice little siesta in the middle of the day. And you go over there, and the people are super friendly. They're having lots of fun, they're enjoying their lives. And I think that's a huge difference from us, because, for us, we wake up, we go to work. After we get off work, we go home. It's like, oh, I just wish I had more time to myself. Dang it. I just want to do more for myself, whether it's watching TV, playing video games, whatever the hell, drinking a beer. It's like, I wish I had more time for myself. So then you just spread that time out so much so that your sleep starts to suffer. And then you just get more and more and more tired and more unbalanced.
Well, obviously, I mean, I talked to people that have been deployed and stuff. In the military, you have a bunch of conversations with a bunch of people that have been different places, and it seems like Italy is like a really good place to be, because their food is fantastic and it's all natural. They make it in the morning. Like they get up real early, make it in the morning, and then they also have only certain times where you can eat, at the restaurant. So obviously that's
really?
culture based. Yeah.
Oh, that's crazy. I didn't know they did that. So you can't like eat all day. They have to
No.
wait for the feeding window.
Yeah.
That's really cool. And it's like all based off of tradition. But
Well, not
anyways,
only that, the food doesn't last that long because it's natural and there's no
Oh,
preservatives in it. So,
Yeah.
Whatever they cook that day is for that day.
Yeah.
If they run out of food, they run out of food.
Mhm.
And, get there when it's hot.
Mhm.
You hear me?
Yeah. So when it comes to lifestyle, it can be tough. Habits are really easy to do. It requires little mental capital or requires little mental energy for you to participate
We
in
talking
that
about
habit.
negative or positive?
What do you mean?
So positive, like
Just any
forcing yourself to like keep yourself in that mindset to get up and make your bed. Get up an hour early to get your healthy breakfast in, instead of picking up Burger King on the way to work. And obviously you're drinking, I don't know, 53 grams of sugar, and
Mhm.
besides just getting up a little bit earlier and then making a healthy breakfast. If you want some coffee, make it, out of the damn pot. And
So what I mean,
that's what I mean. Is
yeah,
like
yeah,
positive versus negative, because
Yeah.
obviously you can feed off the really negative. Smoking is it's an addiction, but it's also a habit.
Yeah.
Because you're addicted to the smoking, but the habit is bringing something to your mouth.
Mhm.
So it's like a double combination of negative. So obviously that's easy to start up. It's terrible to break, but good and positive habits are very hard to start up and easy to not follow.
Oh yeah, for sure. There's obviously a difference between good and bad, and like there's obviously a difference between what's easy and what's not. What I'm saying is like when we participate in a habit, no matter if it's good or bad, if it's already an established habit that we do,
Mhm.
then it's a lot easier for us to participate in that habit, because all of a sudden now we don't have to worry about the meticulous details that go into that habit, like getting dressed in the morning. Getting dressed in the morning is just automatic. You know what you're gonna wear. You just like, okay, socks, underwear, shorts, shirt, whatever, unless you don't wear underwear, whatever. I don't know what you wear.
Hey,
Yay, getting
shout out.
naughty commando. Gonna have to wash those pants twice.
Yep.
Yeah. Anyways,
Yep.
and like it goes with everything. But once that habit is established, it's easy to do. So working out is a great example for obviously the both of us. It's very easy for me to get into a workout. It's very easy for me to be like, okay, it's time to go hit the gym. It's an established habit. I've been doing it for 3 years now, and it's like really easy, a little bit longer than 3 years, but it's really easy for me to just go, okay, let's go to the gym. It's time to get some work done, so on and so forth. For somebody who's just starting out, it's incredibly hard. And usually, like you said, 2 weeks is what it takes to establish that habit. And I would say it probably takes a little bit longer, but the automaticity being, you can do something automatically and it requires you to focus on it doesn't, the little details don't occupy your brain.
Yeah, it doesn't require any
Yeah.
brain power to actually just do the action. You're just doing it like brushing your teeth.
Yeah,
every night.
exactly. And like it could go with healthy habits, like weighing out your food. I talk with people all the time and they're like, well, weighing out the food is so tedious, yada, yada, yada. I was like, just keep doing it. It'll get better. And it's not that they get better at it, but two is that it just becomes more automatic for them. They don't realize the little details that goes into it. They don't pick up on that anymore because now it's just a habit. It's easy for them to do. Just like it's easy for you to, hop in your vehicle, go to McDonald's, pick something from the menu, and then go through the drive-through, pay, get your meal, and drive home. Right?
When you start establishing good, healthy habits, it doesn't become a burden anymore. It's just what you're doing.
Yeah.
So when you want to, establish a good, healthy relationship basically with yourself, and hold yourself to boundaries that you're not willing to overdo
break.
and break, then it'll be a lot easier, and that burden isn't so much.
Mm-hmm.
When you start doing cooking your own food for the day, and I used to do it on Sundays, and today's Sunday, time to make my food for the week, and then you schedule, boom, this is for Monday. And if you want a snack, obviously you go back, go to the store and buy some snacks.
Mm-hmm. Get them
'Cause I be
snacks.
snacking
Oh
hard.
yeah, I like to snack. I love to
I be
snack.
snacking hard.
That's another big thing that I've noticed is for me, I'm more of a snacker, right? I'll have like a few meals, but then I like snacks throughout the day.
I be snacking.
Yeah, be snacking all the
Snack
time.
packing.
Snack packing.
No, I do snack packs.
Snack packs.
Like the little puddings.
Yeah, those are good.
They had
man.
them for
Reminds
$1.
me of
That's Safeway.
Billy Madison.
Oh
pack?
yeah. Snack pack.
Yeah. Anyways,
What is that? Snack pack? Hey, give me that.
anyways, so when it comes to habits, for me, I'm a big snacker. So what do I do? Instead of eating shit food for snacks, like chips, potato chips, candy, so on and so forth, the quote unquote snack foods, I replace them with stuff that's healthier, whether it's like a good sandwich that's got real meat, that's got real cheese, that's got healthy bread, and condiments that aren't super packed in sugar, or whether that's like something like almonds, something simple, right? But still healthy. Even vegetables you can snack on, but so essentially you're just replacing the bad habit with something that's better for you.
Yeah.
Right?
And it doesn't mean you have to sacrifice taste.
Yeah.
Because everybody thinks, oh, I'm on a diet now, I'm eating shitty, tasteless food. No, that's not. No.
Just
I
get
mean,
good at cooking.
Are you? Yeah. If you're a bodybuilder, that's a little bit different because your diet's a little bit more distinguished and it's in kind of writing.
Mhm.
And obviously, if you want some good fats, get some guacamole in there.
Ooh,
You hear me?
I love me some guac.
Good.
Love
Some
me
guac
I
dip.
love me some baby poop.
Some of that dip. But what I do is I snack on granola bars. Yeah, they're pretty high in sugar, but I'm also going to work those off, and I know my body well enough to where I know I can work them off.
Oh yeah. Well, I think a big thing too is like tracking. Once you establish the ability to track food, it makes it super easy for you to fit things into your macros, to fit things into your calories. So it's like, okay, I could eat this candy bar and it totally fits in. It just means that I'm gonna have to eat a lighter dinner. It means that I'm gonna have to eat like a salad for dinner, or something that's a little less calorically dense, maybe a little more nutrient dense, right?
Well, you can get those apps on your phones and stuff to count your macros. Just enter everything that you're putting in, or you can count them yourself. Kind of balance out. I mean, if you're truthfully like serious about getting in better shape and doing a better job with your health and your mental health, physical health, then do the work. But because there's always some form of place to go to be serious about something, like especially health. Like I said, the app on your phone counting your macros up. But if you're not super serious, but you still want to benefit from working out and eating right, you can do it. I mean, just kind of research what you need to do, when you need to eat those foods. And so this is a good like keynote to losing weight but still maintaining muscle. This is what I do personally, and I've felt it work for many people. Is eat your fats in the morning, maybe snack a little bit during your 3 or 4 big meals, and then eat your carbs in the evening, and then eat your proteins at night. Try to keep the fats low in the nighttime, so then your body only has proteins to feed off of during the nighttime. So
Well, and like when you go to sleep, that's when your body goes into an anabolic state when it's repairing itself. So it makes sense to have that protein in your system. Um, but anyways, when it comes to a habit, I've always found that for certain people, well, this is for everybody. This is for pretty much everybody. No matter if it's like trying to pursue a new career, whether it's trying to get bigger in the gym, whether it's trying to lose fat, whether it's trying to become more healthy. Most people try and like cold turkey it. Like they just try and flip the switch and just totally flip their lives upside down. Small occasions it works, and the small occasions that you see it work are when someone's going through some sort of tragedy, whether it's divorce, whether it's they're told they have some sort of life-threatening disease. That's when you usually see that switch happen. But for the majority of people, you have to do it slow. It has to be a slow incremental change that you can't beat yourself up over, because if you do, then it increases your chances of just giving up. It's kind of like you have a bad day. You're like, oh, well, fuck it. I had a bad day. I'm just going to screw up this whole week because I already had one bad day. And I always say it's not about winning the day. It's about winning the week and the month, because there's still things that you can do throughout that week to make up for a bad day. Like you eat 2,800 calories on Tuesday, but you still have Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. You can take calories from those specific days if you're tracking, or you can just eat better foods in those days and be a little more strict with yourself and still make up for that bad day.
well, when you're stressed and stuff, obviously you're in that catabolic state too long. So they might lose a lot of weight. Hey, I lost a lot of weight. Well, what are they going through? Say somebody had a breakup, or their dog died or something like that, and they're in that catabolic state a lot because that stress did that to them. Basically, they could put them in that catabolic state. You're not going to be gaining muscle. You're only going to be taking away in fat and muscle, but it's not a healthy form. Like people don't understand that you have to maintain that balance between anabolic and catabolic states.
Oh yeah. And like when you go through a tragedy, it's really easy to just not have an appetite. It's really easy to just not take care of yourself. And so
You're
like,
sick and
oh,
stuff.
hey, I lost 30 pounds. It's like, well, yeah, you look like a beanpole. You look like you're anorexic. Yeah, it's gross. I don't like that.
You look like a damn Slim Jim.
Yeah.
B.
Like that Slim Jim commercial riding on a freaking BMX bike. But anyways, so when it comes to like habit change, I think the best thing that you can do is do it slowly and don't beat yourself up. the biggest thing that I see is people beat themselves up too much. They're a little too hard on themselves. Now, there is a point where you must be hard on yourself to keep yourself accountable. But there is also that point where you have to realize, I'm just starting this. It's like some skinny guy going into the gym and he's surrounded by a bunch of big dudes and he keeps beating himself up because it doesn't look like them. It's like, whoa, 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 whoa. You're just starting out, dude. Slow down. Take it easy. Take it day by day. Just slowly start learning more, surround yourself with these people, and don't worry about that because everything will eventually work out if you just stay consistent.
I think that when you set such a high example or a high expectation for yourself, and I'm not saying that you can't, have your high goals or big dreams, big dreaming, piggy up, but you, I'm not saying that's a bad thing. Shoot for the moon, you might not end up on the stars. But if you set too high of I just lost
Of a goal.
too high of a goal. You're too high of an expectation. Expectations are the root of all frustration. So if you say you're so hard on yourself and you're expecting more from yourself, and I'm very like, I do this all the time where I expect so much from myself, and actually my boss, obviously Ryan, he owns a shop. He's like, dude,
CBDYO.
he's like, dude, you're so hard on yourself. And I'm like, I just expect a lot for myself, and I get frustrated at that because, at the end of the day, I know I'm doing well. I know I'm trying to do the best that I can, but I do expect a lot from myself. And that kind of hinders me in certain areas where I'm like, it's not that big of a deal. But then I go to bed, I start thinking about it. I'm like, I expected a lot. I expected more from you. It's just
No, and I'm the same way. Me personally, I expect a lot of myself too. And there's a certain point where that helps, but there's a certain point where you get so frustrated that it just paralyzes you, and you can't do anything about it. And I think too many people have, like you said, unrealistic expectations when they start this, that they get frustrated and they expect more out of themselves. Like, why can't I lose fat? It's like impossible for me to lose fat. Why can't I do it? There must be something wrong with me. I'm going to go to the doctor and see if there's something. It's like, no, there's not something wrong with you. It's just you have like 2 good days and then you have 3 bad days and then you have 2 good days and then you have 3 bad days. That's not consistent enough. And it's not helping you develop the habits that you need, because at the end of the day, when it comes to developing a new habit, it all comes down to learning the new habit, whether it's weighing your food, tracking your food. You have to learn whatever this new habit is and how to do it. And then it comes down to repetition and then practice. So you have to do the reps like in the gym to get better at whatever it is that you're trying to do, at whatever habit that you're trying to establish. You have to do the reps and then you have to practice it. And you have to, what I mean by practice is you just have to get better at it. Right.
And in today's society, really, truthfully, everybody wants everything right now. Nobody has any patience. So when you see, somebody that's, has 20-inch arms and, he's big as hell, but he's put in the time to do that.
He's been at it like 8 years,
Yeah, exactly. And it's not going to happen overnight. And that's the expectation that people have is, and truthfully, and people in our state and the gym goers that have been at it for 8-9 years, we don't see a lot of gains. We don't. Our bodies are so used to being tortured every single day for 2 hours that, your body gets used to it. And really the only time that you can see like advanced gains at this level is either you take steroids or you consume so much food that your body, doesn't know what to do with it. So start adding a little bit of fat, storing a little bit of fat, like adding a little bit of muscle. It's just, and the people, when they first start lifting, you're going to see massive gains. You're going to see cuts like you've never seen before. You're going to see muscle, and it's awesome. That state is awesome. But you also got to realize you get to a point and you're not going to see as many cuts. You're not going to see, and if you do, you're working your ass off for years and years and years. It's just nothing happens overnight.
No, it doesn't. And I always call this like the intermediate blues. It's when you exit the beginner stage and you're not seeing those gains week to week to week to week to week, and when it starts to be like month to month to month or like bi-monthly. And it really takes a toll on you. Like, what, am I doing something wrong? It's like, no, you're not doing anything wrong. Keep doing everything that you've been doing. Maybe you need a little more volume. Maybe there's some scientific principles that you can apply to your training, but it doesn't mean there's anything wrong with you. And so when it comes to habits and when it comes to all of this, the biggest thing is, and what's nice when you first start in the gym and you're trying to build muscle, is that you start seeing gains fast, helps you stay consistent. It's the same thing with fat loss. If you're doing it right and you stay consistent with it, then it becomes a habit. So I can bring myself into this. I would consider myself more of an intermediate, maybe like intermediate almost to advanced, getting closer to that stage. But I would definitely consider myself directly at the intermediate stage. And for me, there was a point in time where I snapped out of that beginner stage and I stopped seeing as many gains. I went into that blues. But there was still part of me that wanted to work out. I still had that habit. So I was still just going into the gym and doing my workouts and all that fun stuff. The habit was already established. It was just now it's time to push it a little bit further. But the thing is that when you have a habit that you're trying to establish, if you don't stay consistent with it, it will not develop. And it's the same thing if you're trying to build muscle. If you don't stay consistent with going into the gym day after day after day after day, week after week after week, month after month, month after month, and eating the right foods and getting enough protein, you're not going to see the results that you want to see. It's so funny because when I work with specific individuals, they'll go through a phase where they're not consistent. They have a good day, they have a bad day. They have a good day, they have a bad day. And they're like, I just can't seem to lose any weight. And I go in and I look at their little food log that they give me. And I go in, I look at all the different days. I'm like, well, here you're at 900. Here you're at 1600. Here you're at 800. Your body's like, what the fuck, dude? What are you doing? I can't lose weight with this crazy up and down. So when they level it out and they're staying to like 1600 calories day after day after day, or somewhere's close within like 100 calories of that 1600, whether they're going over or under, doesn't matter. As long as they stay close to that, then they start seeing immediate results. Like, I lost 2 pounds. It's like, yeah, it's because you stayed consistent and you were doing everything that you needed to do. And now you're starting, what's even better is the longer you do it, the more it becomes consistent and the more you can pretty much catapult, slingshot off of that success. That's why I say don't beat yourself up too much, because you want to be able to catapult off of your successes and give yourself some credit, give yourself a pat on the back, because that's going to be ultimately the thing that keeps you going, right?
Well, the consistency is a huge thing, and the more that you go, the better that you know your body. A lot of people, when they first start, they have no idea what their body is, and that's not a bad thing. It's just a thing, and people want to, like I said, they don't want to be patient. They want their gains now, and that's just not how it works. That's not how even life works with anything. Everything, patience is virtue. So if you have enough patience to, be willing to put in the time, because this is not just and I say this, I try to say this every single podcast. Fitness and the healthy lifestyle and living your life like that. I'm personally not the most healthy person, but I am very consistent, and I know what I'm doing, and I know my body very well. So I can get away with a little, drinking on the weekends a couple times, or doing whatever. But people just don't understand that this is not a month challenge. This is not a 6 month challenge. This is a lifestyle.
Mm-hmm.
So if you're not willing to commit the time to it, I'm not saying that's a bad thing to do. But what I am saying is, don't make it a challenge.
Yeah.
The rest of your life is the challenge.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, because this is not a hobby. This is a way of life.
Mm-hmm.
So
and like that's the other thing too when we go into lifestyle, is that a lot of people have crappy lifestyles. They're not eating very good food. They're not prioritizing their sleep. They're not keeping their stress levels low. And they're not working out. They're just not taking care of themselves. And so they wonder why they're in this constant state of stress, this constant state of just conflict. It's because your lifestyle is set up in a way that breeds conflict. So you wake up, you watch the news, you drink your coffee, and you eat a donut with your coffee. You go throughout your day, and a lot of the things that you surround yourself with in conversation with others and things that you choose to look at are things that are very negative, things that are threats. For us, we've been brought up in such a way where threats are something that we pick up on naturally, because if we don't pick up on threats, then we could potentially die. However, it's gotten to a point now where we're so advanced that we don't really have to worry too much about threats anymore. Yeah, there's still some things, but it takes our attention to other threats that aren't even close to us.
Well, I feel people are so overly threatened by something that shouldn't be a threat at all. Like I watched the Joe Rogan Experience today, and he pulled up a video where they were talking about, I get really offended when people use him or her, like that's not how genders are, and it's like, you're threatened by such a small thing. I don't know how you make it in this world.
Yeah.
Like,
Well, and then you start cherry.
how do you even go throughout the day?
Yeah. How do you use the bathroom? How do you look at those little logos? Like, there's the girls and the boys, and you look at the dress, you're like, that's not right. There should be one where it's just a stick figure, it's just a beanpole. It's not. They're not wearing
There
anything.
you go again.
They
with the
don't have. They
beanpole.
don't have arms or legs. It's just an eye. It's just a dotted eye. But anyways, when it comes to lives, when it comes to this, when you're picking out threats, right? Like, hey, you go on your phone, you scroll through Facebook. Oh, that pisses me off so much. Screw Donald Trump. I can't believe he's doing that. And then that pretty much determines the rest of your day. Now it's like, okay, we're going to talk about Donald Trump all day. We're going to talk about how he's ruining the world, so on and so forth. And then you don't realize it closes you off from other things that could make you feel better. So, what's a video that people are going to watch? They're not going to watch how to make your life better in 5 steps. They're going to watch Donald Trump exposed for his hideous lies in concentration camps and so on and so forth. That's something that people are going to watch because it's a threat and it picks up on the radar immediately.
Well, people want to get angry.
Yeah.
They want to be emotional. But what people don't find is emotional, throughout your day, listen to a song you really like and really being into it. Like you get goosebumps and you're like really into it. Like say it's like a screamo song or like a love song. You're like really getting into it. Like people need to find their emotional throughout the day through anger.
Yeah.
And that's why people are so like their stress level is so high because they want to be angry.
Oh, yeah. Well, it's just fed to us every day too. It's just constantly fed. It's what the majority of people like. So it's what the majority of companies are going to produce is something negative. It's going to be, anything that can trigger that negative response. And it sucks because when that does happen, you don't pick up on the other awesome opportunities. Say you're walking down the street and you see some dude that thinks he's tough staring at you. He's just glaring at you. You're glaring at him. You're like, oh, I'm tougher than you. I could kick your ass. I would dominate you right now, bitch. Don't even mess with me. If we were in prison, I'd shank you with my toothbrush, prison shank. And you don't even realize as you're passing him that there's a girl on the other side of him that's looking at you with goo-goo eyes like, oh, he's so cute. I like him so much. You don't even pick up on that because you're picking up on the asshole guy. And it's like, dude, what's better? Dominating a dude or dominating a girl in a good way? In a good way. I did like parentheses in a good way. I didn't want to make it sound too rapey, if you know what I mean.
Well, a lot of people associate emotions with negative and positive, and all emotion are mutual. There's no good emotion, there's no bad emotion. They're just mutual emotions. They have no agenda. The way that you use them are either for good or for negative, or positive or negative. That Disney movie, there's like emotions in their head.
I know what you're talking about.
And then like the sadness is bad.
Yeah.
Stay away, sadness. But in the end, she needed the sadness to get through what she was going through. She needed to cry. And that's the way that we should use our emotions. I don't feel like there's just a bad stigma about anger. There's a bad stigma about sadness, and I'm not saying use all of them all day long, but what I'm saying is...
Like I cried twice today. I punched a hole in a wall 3 times.
And then drank a Monster and then had a good time. Like,
all right, Kyle, calm down.
Yeah. Well, I'm saying punch a hole. Yeah,
I got you.
You got it.
I got you.
You got it.
Hey, Kyle.
Okay. But people just, the emotions are mutual. The way that you use them is either positive or negative.
Yeah. I totally agree. I heard a really good quote today on this video that I was watching, and it goes something like this. People look for threats to make them feel safe, but at the end of the day, when they're looking for those threats, it's actually making them unsafe. Does that make sense? So like you look for your safety in a threat, but the threat is actually the thing that's making you unsafe. So it's like, my girlfriend's cheating on me. I just know it. She may not be cheating on you, but you're convinced that she's cheating on you, or your boyfriend, whatever. And you're going through and you're looking for all these reasons like, oh, is there a condom in the freaking trash can? What's their phone look like? What do their texts look like? Guess what happens? That person eventually begins to cheat on you. Right? Because you're looking for the threat. You want the threat so bad. You want it. Like you just want something bad to happen.
Well, that's just a form of insecurity.
If
you've been cheated on before, and I totally understand, but at the same time, this is a different person.
Oh, yeah.
It doesn't mean that everybody's going to cheat on you. That's just insecurity. And most of the time, the other person can sense that, and it really pushes them away.
Oh, yeah. For
And
sure.
it's hard to deal with that. It really is. It's hard to not get into that flow again. Like, hey, I really am feeling emotional about this person. I'm beginning to start to love them or really like them or whatever your level is, and you start feeling that uh, you know love like again. You're like, man, but it's too good. I'm just he's or she this is too good. I don't deserve this. And it's like you know people, and I totally understand. It's like it is an insecurity, and it really bites all of us at some point in our lives,
Mhm. Well,
whether it be relationships or whether it be going to the gym and feeling like you're not as good as everybody
yeah.
else.
And that's good. That's a good point. But like with the threats, like even if we're going into the gym, like you're in the gym, you see somebody that's bigger than you, that you perceive that as a threat. Instead of seeing them as a potential friend that could help you, as somebody that could drop some knowledge on you, you immediately pick it up as a threat. It's kind of like, say you got somebody who they make a lot of money, right? They make a lot of money, but always in the back of their head, they're afraid they're going to lose their job. Like that's a huge one, and that's something that everybody struggles with, and that's just because we're always looking for the threat, and we're not looking for something else. We're in like a contracted state where it's like I have to protect me, I have to protect everything that's in my circle, keep everything else out, instead of being in more of an expanded state where it's like, okay, I'm safe, I'm good. And now I want to bring other things in. And it's just like you're open. You're way more open to everything that's happening around you. You're way more open to other people. You're way more open to other experiences. And because when that happens, now all of a sudden you can see everything that was in front of you that you were missing, because instead of being contracted and reserving yourself for some sort of threat to come out of nowhere, you've expanded yourself outwards and opened yourself up. And now you can actually see the opportunities that are out there, right?
Mhm.
So just like with the analogy with the guy with the girl, if you're perceiving threats all the time, you're not going to see the opportunities that are there. So if you are driving down the street and you see some sort of homeless person and they scare the heck out of you because you're like, oh no, this homeless person could like try and rob me. Or let's go walking down the street. We'll go with walking down the street again. You see a homeless person and you get scared because you think that they're gonna rob you or something, and you're just really, really afraid of them. And they say, oh hey, how's your day? How are you doing? You look good today. Whatever. They give you some sort of compliment. They just try and be nice to you, but you don't hear it because you're still perceiving them as a threat. And instead, you stay open and you stay aware, keep your guard up a little bit, but you're still open in an expanded state. So that when you walk by him, you give him a dollar bill, he starts crying because he's never, had somebody show him such compassion. And now all of a sudden you just made somebody's day. You just spread some positive energy and you help that guy expand a little, right? And so I think too many people are in a contracted state where they're trying to protect little me and not staying in an expanded state where it's like, okay, let's help everybody.
Why not
And
give you an
that's
example of what I shared today on Facebook? I actually saw um, Ryan shared it. Ryan shared it, and I saw it. And I read the article, and basically it was this dude on the sidewalk, and he had a sign that says, "I was laid off, and here's I have an MBA and an MA. Here's my resume." And imagine you see him from behind, and you see him so holding a sign up. You have no idea what that sign says.
Mhm,
Yeah, he's dressed nice, but he might be just begging for money.
mhm.
You instantly, boom. You have no idea what this dude has been through. You have no idea that this dude is probably more educated than you are, and you're sitting there judging him from behind.
Mhm.
And then you see him in his sign, and you see his face very professional, and then you're like, damn, I feel like shit.
Yeah. Well,
And I mean, it's a it's a common thing to judge as in positive versus negative, and like the stigma of homeless people is that they're bad people. No, they just have challenges that maybe you haven't faced.
yeah.
And there's nothing wrong with that. And I'm not saying that it's good to be homeless, but what I am saying is maybe take the time and even talk to somebody. They might not, they might know more than you.
Yeah, well, like show a little compassion because it goes a long way.
Mhm.
And what's crazy is that I've seen this happen more and more often nowadays. But back in the day, it was kind of like don't be the nice guy. There was the no, don't be the nice guy rhetoric going around. Like if you're a nice guy, you won't get girls kind of type thinking.
Mhm.
Now I'm like we're starting to see a shift the other way where it's like if you're a cool dude and you understand how to be socially savvy and like understand cues, all that fun stuff, know how to flirt, but you're a nice guy and you're really super sweet, girls will love that. And you'll get laid just as much as an asshole. So, and it's crazy that you're starting to see that start to shift that direction because I see it all the time. I see some of the nicest dudes that I know are just killing it. They're killing it, and
Well, I think just be yourself.
yeah,
It's
and
just,
and be yourself is obviously very important.
just don't
too.
portray anybody. I mean, just go throughout your day and just don't lie about yourself. Just
But-
just be you.
But my point is like with all of
In
this,
that extent, I mean,
oh yeah. But my point is that showing a little compassion in a world where compassion is pretty much set aside goes a long way because people aren't used to that. It's kind of like if you give a default response of like someone walks by and they're like, "How's your day going?" "Oh, it's not a very good day." Blah 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 blah. And then you go and the next person comes over and you're like, "Hey, how's your day going?" "My day is going great." And then they just immediately show you compassion. "How's your day going?" "You look like you're having an awesome day." "Yeah, I love your shoes. I love this. I love that." But you show that compassion because it's something that people aren't used to. And the things that are pumped into our brains through media, just media in general, whether it's social media, whether it's the news, whether it's TV, whether it's Netflix, whatever it may be, the main thing that's pumped into us is like negative. So when you show a little light into the darkness, like imagine a room full of light and there's some darkness. You're going to see the darkness when in a room full of light. But if there's a room full of darkness and there's a light, like just a lighter, boom, it's going to blow up that whole room, right? There's like shadows are like, okay, there's a shadow, there's a shadow there. You notice them, but the light encompasses everything. If you're in a room full of darkness, like this is getting really woo-woo-y. This is getting real hippie like here. I'm gonna start talking like hippie. Anyways, the world we live in right now, there's a lot of darkness that encompasses us, and it's not necessarily it's not that there's more threats because there isn't. There's still just the same amount of threats as there is, non-threats, as there's opportunity, as there's good things. There's just as much negative as there is positive. It's just now the scope is easy to set on the negative things, and we can pick those things out using media to do that. And so
that's what sells.
and that's what people surround themselves with. So now we kind of live in a world of darkness. It's not dark. It just feels dark because that's all we see anymore with media. So if you shine a little light, show a little love, show a little compassion, people are going to see that from miles away. It's like a lighter in the dark. You're going to see that from 3 miles off.
Well, I think that also goes along with living in certain cities or certain towns or certain fucking villages. In that, the biggest thing that I learned in Cheyenne when I first moved here, because I'm originally from California, where there's 3 million people, and I started seeing, people are generally nicer, and I'm not saying they genuinely care, because most people don't.
Yeah.
But they are genuinely nicer. When you go to, say, In-N-Out in California, and what do you want? All right, boom. But I'm just comparing like apples to apples. Just go to, obviously Chick-fil-A is great everywhere, and they're all nice. But say you go to McDonald's here and like, hey, how's it going? They'll sit down and have a whole conversation with you. But obviously, when you get to bigger populations, the caring and the kind of like, I don't want to say ambiance, but the connection, I guess, is not there.
It's kind of distorted.
Yeah.
I would say that there's the same amount in every single place. It's just the bigger the area, the more certain things get diluted. So, like for Cheyenne, it's a small area. Like my hometown's a pretty small area, but there's a lot of shitty things that happen. There's still a lot of bad things that go on. There's still a lot of shitty people.
I mean,
right?
where I'm from in California, I mean, people there. I think there was like maybe 400, 500 people killed. I mean, that's a different level.
Oh yeah, but there's more people though. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So
but
like the ratio changes, or the ratio is the same. It's just the population changes.
Yeah, but not many people get killed here, and that's
well, yeah.
People start getting kind of like you said, diluted to the fact that there's crimes every single day. Yes, there's crimes in Cheyenne, but to the extent of how much crime is where I'm from is not even comparable at all.
And that's just more population, right? So it's kind of like we take 3 ants and we put them into a container. That's just 3 ants. They'll get some work done, though there's some drama that will happen. But if we take like 1 million ants and we put them in a container, there's going to be a lot of things happening. The chances of something happening, like 5 people in a room, the chances of somebody dying or getting killed by somebody is pretty low, right? But if there's like freaking 100,000 people in one room, the chances of somebody dying could be very, very, very high,
But the
right?
connection between those 5 people are going to be a lot closer than those million people. And that's because when you see somebody, you're not probably going to see them the next day. In where I'm in California, you're not going to see them again probably in your whole life, unless you're,
Like work together or something.
yeah, exactly. But here, I mean, you go to Walmart, you might see them tomorrow, you might see them next month. You just never know. And chances are you will see them again in your life if they continue to live in Cheyenne, and you know what I'm saying. So, and I think that the principle of you might see them again kind of flushes in your head because everybody knows everybody in small town, so reputation kind of comes into order, and maybe that is the reason because subconsciously you might get in trouble with somebody else that knows that person that you're rude to, and like I said, in California you don't really have that problem.
Oh, yeah, and like just bringing it back to the diluted thinking, the less people there are, the more the less delusion that's happening, right? It's like we have a thing full of water and we're dripping things of dye. If there's a small cup of water and we drip dye into the small cup of water, it's going to stay pretty concentrated, right? It's not going to dilute too much. If we put that in a gallon bucket, it's going to dilute a lot if we put a few drops in there. So it's the same with like populations. I think that the more vast a population gets, the more diluted it becomes. The more diluted we become as far as connecting with one another, the more we start to protect ourselves, the more threats we're picking up on. There's a lot more information that's coming into our brains when there's a massive amount of people. There's a lot of people, and like I seen this at like the Post Malone concert. There's a crap load of people. There's like 33,000 people in there, and everybody is had like what like this all over the place. You don't see anybody letting loose and just moving, and the alcohol is everywhere. People are just drinking their asses off because there's so many people, and it's the only way. They have to poison themselves to literally just let go. And it's so funny because there's all this information of people, and everybody's taking in all this information, so it makes them scared because the more information that there is, the more threats that you can see. And if that is your default where you're picking out threats, then it's like
just a human nature.
Well, it is human nature. But at the same time, you can also flip it and you can also see opportunity. For me, I loved it. I knew when we first walked in there, I was like, I'm gonna love every single second of this. Doesn't matter how many people are there, doesn't matter what crazy shit happens. I'm gonna love this because I love massive groups of people. I like already established the framework that this is gonna be awesome. So I went in there, there's people around me miserable, screaming at each other, people fighting with each other because it's so crammed, people not letting people through the crowd, so on and so forth, just because they don't want to have anybody in front of them. They got to be at the front. And I'm just sitting there dancing because I'm like, this is fun to me. I love this. This is great. And if there is a threat to come out of nowhere, I will perceive it, and I'll deal with it if it's an immediate threat. But I'm not going to be worried about what's happening in front of me or over here. I'm fixated on this concert. I'm fixated on having a good time. That's all I care about. And I think too many people get fixated on the threats and what's around them and protecting themselves that they miss out on the amazing show that's happening right in front of their faces, right? And so there was so many people that didn't like the concert, that were miserable at the end of the concert because, oh, this person did this and this person was doing this and this person was talking the whole time, yada yada yada. It's like you missed the whole concert because you were focused on all this stupid crap that was happening around you that wasn't even a real threat. It was just you picking out the negative shit when you could have seen one of the coolest shows of your entire life right up there and one of the coolest, and seeing history being made, right? And it sucks that people are like that, and it sucks that we're conditioned to be that way. But my main point is like, don't let the small little tiny threats that aren't going to hurt you affect the big picture and the big show that's happening in front of your face and the opportunity that is awaiting you in your life.
I can't top that.
Bam!
Oh.
Yeah.
Well, thank you guys for joining so much.
Yes.
We appreciate you. We love you.
All of you.
Olive.
Remember. Olive once. Olive once.
Pretty cool. Good name. Pretty cool name.
What was it?
Pretty cool.
Yeah. Olive.
You know what?
Olive.
Yep.
Olive.
Topping
Olive. Yes.
On a
olive oil.
Ooh.
Ooh.
I
extra
Wow.
virgin olive oil.
Extra,
Extra
extra,
virgin.
extra.
We should just make this. We should just make this. What an ASMR video? Is that what it's called? ASMR, where it's like whispering, and then you're like,
Hey guys,
"Hey, how's it going?"
what's going on?
I'm
Well,
just
thank you
going-
guys for joining our podcast, 10th Dimension Podcast, on Instagram, on YouTube. We gotta upload more pictures.
Yeah, we do. I'll give you access to. I've been slacking on that.
Big time.
Jacob Preston Fitness. You can find me on YouTube and on Instagram. Also find me on Facebook. I'll be starting a group up here soon for clientele. Oh yeah, Facebook group, because we all love community. Check me out. I'm pretty I'm pretty awesome. Some would consider me mediocre. I would consider myself super awesome, but we'll meet in the middle. Pretty awesome. Yeah, there we go.
Acceptable.
That happy
Acceptable.
medium. Yep, this is like lukewarm coffee. Okay, that's gross. I like burning, scalding hot coffee. Anyways, like the video, guys. Subscribe, share, comments. Yes.
Subscribe.
Yo.
Please. KT Fit 42 on Instagram. And that's our show.
Yeah. And don't forget, Big Dream and Apparel. Hey, win the day. Or wait. Don't worry about winning the day. Win the week
And win the year.
and the month.
Love,
Bye.
love, love, love. Chip, chip, boy.